One of these days, that's going to be the stream. One of these days, that is going to be that day's stream. Because we're just going to sit down and we're just going to analyze why that opening cinematic to World of Light is like, is itself almost the best story mode out there. Like, that little cinematic does everything that a story mode... Let's just do it right now. Why are we even playing Pokemon? Okay. Why is the World of Light cinematic, the opening cinematic, why does it perfectly encapsulate what you want out of a story mode, and kind of why World of Light was such a failure because it failed to follow up on like on its magnificence? Okay, let's look at it. Fox is
Don't let
gone.
a single one get away.
Fox. I'm gonna turn this down just a little so I can talk over it. And by a little, I mean probably a lot, right? Pulls out, everybody's here, right? That's the tagline. Everybody's here. Look at that. Look at this cast. Look at this ridiculous cast of characters, right? This is never going to happen again. Smash Ultimate, right? Smash Bros. Ultimate. God, everything's like Ultimate and Infinite. Smash Bros. Ultimate, so good. You're just never going to get these many characters, like never going to get these many companies to agree to put their characters in something again. Everybody's here. There's little Kirby, Pikachu, everybody you like is here, and a bunch of guys you don't even know, right? So, first thing, here's a bad guy. It's like you pan up and you see a Master Hand, and you're like, oh no, Master Hand. It's like, oh no, there's the bad guy. It's so powerful that it has a bunch of Master Hands. Does it make sense? No, but it doesn't matter, right? It's like, okay, well, that sucks. You get like the very few lines in this.
Need to take down about 10.
Stow your fear. It's now or never.
So I love this because, and people have pointed this out, that Marth is just very, because that's his character, very calculating, a tactician. He's like, each of us needs to take down about 10. And then Zelda comes in with like, we have to do this, guys, like with like the rallying cry, but it really sounds like she's going, shut up, Marth. Like, like, shut up, Marth, we're doing this.
We'll win this. I know we will.
Pit with the hope. And then you're like, oh, here come the Master Hands. Is like, oh no, they're like separating into like weird tendrils. Okay, and this starts here, right? From here on out, everything that happens is completely tied to a character's character, their story in their game, their power set, their abilities. Like every second of this thing is going to be completely full of like character information. So everything that happens from here on out is either character or like personal character driven, or has to do with their powers and their story, or is actually a Smash Brothers reference. So let's see it. So first off, oh, now I blanked out on his name. Oh, Shulk. Yes, thank you, Balooey. Yep. So the first thing that happens, Shulk can see the future. Bam, you get it, right? It's like Shulk is not gonna get to do much else, so we get this. Like he basically gets the first move. It's like, oh no, this is gonna be bad, and you already see all these people getting bamfed, right? So you're like, oh no. And you're like struggling to think, is like, is Shulk's ability like, does it allow him to change the future, or is it like set, right? You're like, oh no, but you don't have enough time because this is just moving along. So here we go. So we don't know this yet, right? You have to have seen the whole thing, thought about it, and then gone back to see it. The only thing that is able to stop this thing is the Hylian shield, right? Like the only thing that is immune to it is Link's shield, and that is both a reference to Zelda and it being the best shield. I think it's the Hylian shield, and also a reference to Link, where in Smash Brothers, if he's just standing there and you shoot him and it hits the shield, like a projectile won't go through, right? Um, yep, only from the front, right? If you hit him from the back, the shield doesn't do anything. So yeah, you don't know this yet, but absolutely the only thing that stood up to this thing was the Hylian shield, which feels extremely badass for Link and the characters from Zelda, right? But they get him, they get Samus. So here, this is a Smash Brothers reference, right? Because Zelda has powers and other stuff, but the power set that we think of as Zelda comes from Link's powers in Ocarina of Time, which were kind of given to Zelda to give her something to do. Um, so Zelda and Mewtwo, what do? They try to reflect it, right? Both of those powers are reflects. So they're like, oh, this is some sort of projectile attack. I'm going to reflect it. It doesn't work. Reflects don't work. This is a Smash Brothers reference. It's Breath of the Wild Link too, so that could have been the durability on the shield running out. Yeah, that could be it too. So they tried to do reflects. The reflects don't work. Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog is the fastest there is, right? Fastest guy, fastest character, right? How could this thing ever catch up to Sonic? This is why, right? This doesn't tell us something about how fast Sonic is. We already know how fast Sonic is. Sonic is literally the fastest character in this game, but he's a good guy. And he wants to help Pikachu, and because he stops to help Pikachu, or he slows down to help Pikachu, the light gets him, right? And everybody loves Pikachu. How could you see Pikachu in trouble and not help him, right? He's adorable. Bayonetta tries to do her, like, transform into bad things. Yep, Sonic slows down to save Pikachu. That's right. Tries to do her bad thing, but they get her on the way back. Pokemon Trainer, and I love this shot, and Bowser are on the full offensive, right? They're like, okay, dodging is not working, reflecting is not working. Let's go on the offensive. Doesn't work, but it doesn't matter because I love this shot. Bam! Right? Amazing. Incredible. Love it. Also very Bowser to just be like, I'm the biggest bruiser there is, and then get conked in the face for it. Just classic Bowser. Captain Falcon could have outrun it if he got into the Blue Falcon, but he doesn't make it into the Blue Falcon. Lucario can teleport, as can Greninja, but they just can't teleport enough, right? Or fast enough. Inklings, right? They have a way to avoid things by going into the ink, but it doesn't work. Oh, not yet. Okay, so Falco gets into his R-Wing. Falco actually makes it into his R-Wing, but they still catch up to him, right? It's that fast. Love this, right? It's like the Kid Icarus game that Dark Pit, and Palutena come from, that these versions come from, is Sakurai's baby, right? He made that game, so he gives them this moment where like Pit and Dark Pit are getting away. Palutena tries to do a reflect, she gets hit, and their power comes from Palutena, so they lose their powers, they lose their ability to fly, and you can see that I think their halos turn dark too, and they're sitting ducks, right? So that it's like that tells us something about that game. It's something that you might not have thought about that game, but this plays on this like very specific singular thing about that game. Palutena also uses her reflect right in the path of Pit and Dark Pit to try to cover their escape. Absolutely, right? That tells you something about Palutena. It tells you about how their powers work. Absolutely, 100%. That's a great observation. And again, this is my favorite. Well, this isn't my favorite one, but it's really funny, right? There's just this box, and it gets hit, right? If you don't know what that box is, you're like, what's that box doing there? But if you know, you know, and it's actually hilarious. This is like a full movie that takes like 4 minutes, right? You get all the like ups and downs and chills and spills of a movie. Like this is a joke to break the tension. You're seeing all the characters you love like getting disintegrated, and seeing Snake's disintegration is like actively hilarious. Right? Here's some more flying guys trying to get away. Diddy Kong and his jetpack. And Rosalina and Luma trying to get away as well. Yeah. Okay. Again, so, Villager, Duck Hunt, aka Duck Hunt Duo, and Wii Fit Trainer, right? Three very weird characters put together into this tableau. So what do? So it doesn't look like they do anything, but in fact they do. What do? Villager is just full on freaking out, right? He's not doing anything. The duck is trying to carry the dog to safety, but the dog is freaking out, so he's like just hiding, just like putting his paws over his face. So that's what they get hit, right? The dog is trying to hide behind the foreground foliage. Yeah, that's what's worked for him in the past. Yep, while the duck is trying to fly off screen. Exactly. Yep, exactly right. Wii Fit Trainer is doing tree pose. Tree pose in the game in Smash Brothers gives you a moment of invulnerability. So if you're a Wii Fit Trainer main and you see this moment, you're like, I know what Wii Fit Trainer was trying to do. Basically, Wii Fit Trainer was trying to tank the hit by using her invulnerability, but invulnerability doesn't work against these lights. And here comes Kerbo, right? So a lot has been said about how Kirby is Sakurai's favorite. I think he literally created Kirby, and certainly has worked on a lot of Kirby games. But you also need, like, the reason why it's brilliant and important that Kirby get away is there's lots of reasons, right? So let's watch Kirby get away. Right. And then a bunch of other guys get hit, and it spreads to the world and the universe. No escape. Fade to black. Now yep. All the spirits are wandering. And then the warp star comes back. I think they're called warp stars. Into a song that we all now know by heart if you've played a lot of Smash Brothers, right? Okay, so that's basically it. There's, some gameplay footage, and then you get to see the spirits taking over the sort of like toy versions of each character. But why is it important that Kirby gets away? So again, a lot of people are like, well, Kirby's Sakurai's favorite, but so obviously he'd be the one to get away. But if you think about the last time that Smash had a good story mode, which was the Subspace Emissary, you also begin the game by playing Kirby and Mario. And so the real reason why Kirby gets away is because Baloo, you love this song? Yeah, it's like so far deep in my brain. Um, uh, the important reason why Kirby gets away is that Kirby is the most forgiving character for new players, right? So a brand new player to Smash Brothers can start as Kirby and start playing through World of Light and not be worried about being, you know, shot out of a platform and having no recovery, or rather not knowing how recovery works in Smash Brothers, because Kirby has recovery for days, right? He has like his multiple floaty jump, and then he does his like sword thing. It's very easy to recover with Kirby. So that's the reason. That's a real reason why Kirby makes it out. It's not, the Warp Star works the way that it does, but it's like this cool and exciting and fun moment. Kirby is also like the cutest, most roundest little baby. So it's like you get worried about him. You're like, oh no, this little baby's gonna get hurt just like everyone else, and he actually makes it out, and it's this moment of like, and then when he makes it out, he just like smashes down on the ground, showing you that he's exhausted. Right? It took a Herculean effort for him to get away. But the reason why he gets away is because he's the easiest character to play. Kirby is also known for like taking over and rehabilitating other characters, making them Kirby's friends. Kirby is a solution to a very particular problem of brainwashing. If Kirby escapes, hope lives on. Yeah, absolutely, right. And Kirby, if you know Kirby, Kirby's like a tried and true hero as well, right? Like Kirby is a hero of the magnitude of Link or Mario or any of those other guys. So Kirby gets away, and you're like, oh, we are still in this. Like Kirby's gonna turn it around. Um, but Louis says Kirby is also deceptively powerful for just an ability to be able to eat anything. Yeah, well, and he's like basically indestructible too. But yeah, yeah, it's like Kirby gets away, and then you have this hope, right? And you end with the shot of this game world that you're gonna get to play in, right? So then what happens? Well, uh, you play and in like a huge, and I played through the whole thing. I beat the whole thing. You play through this huge and extremely repetitive set of references. And let me tell you something. These references are amazeballs. Like they are they are such huge deep cuts, like really amazing, like thought out, like what power do we give to this person, which person in the roster represents this character, right? You fight a Big the Cat Spirit. You fight, there is a Mario RPG fight where you play against a Kirby, being Mallow, and a Bowser, and a Peach, and I want to say me a me swordsman being Geno. I forget who plays Geno. But yeah, there's like, here's your Mario RPG fight, and you're like, oh, Geno didn't make it into this game, but this is something. Um, but there's a ton of these. They're extremely repetitive. Basically, when I was playing, I found Bowser, and I found a spirit that made him big, and then I found a spirit that empowered smash attacks, and basically, I very boringly got through this whole game by just flicking smash at the beginning of each fight, and Bowser would just obliterate most things. Anything that didn't die then, sure, it was a fight. Um, oh, look, it's Wolfie. Don't play me this Wolfie video. Thank you. Anything else is like becomes an actual fight, right? Um, and it was just disappointing. The next cutscene that happens is right before you get to the end boss. You get to see that there is like another one of these things, right? Or right there's yeah, it's like the next cutscene is you get to see that there's another one on these things right before you fight the final version of them. Um, there's like a quick cutscene with like Mario and like Greninja and like a couple other characters hanging out and looking like super determined. But that's the thing is like they couldn't show you all the characters because getting some of the characters is optional. So you don't even get the equivalent of that first shot again because um, you could have opted not to get Ike, or you could have opted not to get I don't know, any one of those characters, right? There's a very few characters that you have to get to continue on. There's maybe like five, and those five characters are there, and no one else. So yeah, it just like man, what a promise that was not absolutely not in any way delivered on. That World of Light opening cinematic was still amazing. It's still like World of Light is a better story mode. Just like sorry, the opening cinematic of World of Light is a better story mode than the huge cinematic of Guilty Gear Strive. Right? That's pretty much garbage. Like it's not very good. Like you talk about like somebody taking a bunch of like amazing music and characters and not doing very much with it and just kind of making a boring story out of it. Guilty Gear strives like movie, right? Because it doesn't even have any playable stuff, which is fine. is just not very good. Like if you compare that to World of Light, where like it just like very economically makes you feel for every character, every single character on screen, and there's 50 of them, right? And you're like, I don't usually care about Bayonetta, but what's happening to me? Like, it's very good.